Hello everybody, I'm your host JC, and in today's video, I'm going to be redesigning a couple of old original characters of mine that I made when I was 10. Yes, the era of when I didn't know the basic fundamentals of drawing, like perspective, anatomy, and color. But to be honest, looking back now, little me did a decent job at making some decently okay characters, to say the least. So, the two characters I'm going to be giving a redesign today are personally two of my favorite original characters that I've made. And they're both from my childhood comic idea called Blue Justice. Definitely, I didn't steal that from Sonic the Hedgehog movie 2. But originally, how Blue Justice got his abilities was that he was a kid named Miguel, and he was going to be the new hero of New York after his father retired from being the original hero. But it was a bit of a simple story, so I made a couple of tweaks to it. Instead of him taking the role of hero after his father, he would stumble upon a cave on the side of a mountain while hiking. And as any immature protagonist would do, he went inside the cave alone. And he would find a teapot, a magical one, holding the spirit of a dragon that lived all the way in the beginning of the Japanese history. And as Miguel opened the top of the teapot, the dragon burst out and awoke from his slumber. Miguel would soon be gifted the power to master all of the martial arts, like karate, judo, aikido, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, kung fu, muay thai, and krav maga. Now, since I'm adding the new character, which is the mystical dragon, he's gonna have a bit of a part of the story. It's gonna be very minor, like he'll be giving advice and helping out when it's like in really dangerous times, but not too much where he's like one of the main characters. Now back to my boy, which is Miguel. See, I did change a lot in his story actually. So originally he was just gonna be a Mexican boy that, inherited Blue Justice's costume and all of his weapons. But for this redesign, I kind of changed him up a bit, since the story is heavily inspired by Japanese culture and folklore. I went ahead and turned him Asian with a bit of American on his father's side. Oh yeah, and I changed Miguel's name to Michael now, because I actually don't know why I did that. I don't know. Now, thankfully, little me knew how to make an actually decent character design from Michael over here, so I didn't have to really change much about his appearance. Now, the only thing I did take away from his costume were a couple of white areas on it and his Ninja Turtle-like elbow and knee straps. Yeah, I didn't really like how they looked on the costume, but I'm glad I took them out because it looks a whole lot better without them. Which, a good benefit to removing the elbow and knee straps was that he looks a lot more comfier in his costume, and he also looks a lot more flexible too. And with the fights he's going to be in, he's going to need all the flexibility he can get. And voila, there's my boy Blue Justice. Definitely one of my favorite superheroes that I've made in a really long time. He's got an iconic outfit that doesn't really blend in with most superheroes of today. Definitely really happy on how Blue Justice turned out, and it really goes to show how I've come a long way in my art journey. But without further ado, let's move on to the main villain of this comic series. Thanks to all of y'all who have made it to the halfway mark of this video. I would please ask of you to like the video and subscribe to my channel so I can make better content for you guys to enjoy. Anyways, back to the video. But as you know, in every superhero story, you can't have the protagonist without the antagonist. So this is Mecha, a robot created by a company called Megatech. Now, Mecha's sole purpose was to serve the human race and all of their needs. But Mecha, like most robots in fiction, didn't want to serve the selfish desires of the humans. But soon, the company would find out Mecha's intentions and would hide him away from the world so he wouldn't try hurting anyone. But during one fateful night, Mecha would burst out of his holding cell and run away, causing havoc in the streets of New York. And eventually, that's when he'll meet Blue Justice. Now, as for Mecha's character design, I stayed faithful to it a bit, just with a couple of changes. Like, his head is a bit rounded instead of him having horns, Now, as you can see, I gave him one arm instead of two, just to give him a bit of character design storytelling, if you can call it that. Now, as seen in the original drawing, I had it to where he had the ability to have a green goo-like substance to protrude from his hands. But I changed the goo-like substance in favor for acid. In fact, the company that made Mecha and his robot brethren used acid to power up and charge the robots. And because Mecha needs acid to survive and live off of, he resides in an acid factory. But not only does it help Mecha stay fueled up, it also helps his mini robots, so they can continue to scan the city and plan their next attack on New York. And there, both of my original characters refurbished and ready to be used in future content. As you can tell, I'm going to be using these guys a lot. But hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and leave a comment if you want to see another redesign video like this one, because I have a whole lot of more characters I would love to redesign. A special thanks to Xander Flicks for giving me an inspiration on making my own superheroes. I really loved his hero Bullet Boy and would advise you to check out his channel. But without further ado, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.